Walk down the busy streets of Lagos or Nairobi, and you'll see plenty of familiar names: KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Burger King. But look around for the most famous golden arches on Earth, and you won't find them. McDonald's operates over 40,000 restaurants globally. They blanket North America, Europe, and Asia. But look at Africa, home to nearly a fifth of humanity, and the map goes completely dark. Out of 54 countries, McDonald's exists in only 4: Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, and Mauritius. Why has the world's most successful restaurant empire skipped a continent with 1.4 billion people? It comes down to a business model built around strict uniformity, and what happens when that model meets physical limits it refuses to adapt to. The McDonald's experience is engineered so that a French fry in Tokyo tastes exactly the same as one in Chicago. Keeping that exact flavor profile requires an unbroken temperature-controlled supply network, a cold chain. From the farm to the processing plant to the back of the restaurant, every ingredient has to stay perfectly frozen. Building that network is incredibly difficult. According to the Global Cold Chain Alliance, up to 40% of perishable food in Africa is lost simply because there isn't enough temperature-controlled storage and transport available. Take Nigeria, one of the largest economies on the continent. The average temperature is over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and power cuts are frequent. If the grid goes down, a freezer full of highly standardized beef patties thaws in hours, becoming a massive financial loss and a serious health hazard. And it's not just the meat. McDonald's relies heavily on the russet bogging potato for its signature fries. Those potatoes aren't grown locally at scale in most African climates, meaning the company would have to import them across thousands of miles of ocean, risking massive delays and thawed cargo. When the local infrastructure can't guarantee an uninterrupted freeze, achieving the precise standard of a McDonald's meal becomes physically impossible. While moving frozen potatoes across the equator is a logistical nightmare, building out your digital infrastructure doesn't have to be. That is where Shopify comes in. It helps you bypass the usual hurdles of setting up a storefront so you can sell globally right away. Shopify includes a built-in AI assistant that can instantly analyze your store's data, troubleshoot technical issues, and even write your product descriptions for you. It provides the flawless operational backbone for your business that heavy retail giants struggle to build in the physical world. Even if a local entrepreneur could figure out the logistics, the financial barriers to opening a McDonald's are staggering. The company requires a potential franchisee to have between $1 and $2 million in unborrowed liquid cash. In developing banking sectors, securing that kind of local capital is incredibly rare. Then there is the issue of currency. Because McDonald's relies so heavily on importing its standard ingredients, a sudden drop in the local exchange rate instantly inflates the cost to run the restaurant. This chart highlights the result of imported costs. On the left is the $14 price of a single patty hamburger at an imported ingredient chain. On the right is the average daily disposable income for the growing middle class. The gap makes a basic meal completely unaffordable. By strictly demanding global sourcing, McDonald's turns what is meant to be cheap, accessible fast food into a luxury item. So if the economics and logistics are so prohibitive, why are there over 1,000 KFC locations operating smoothly across more than 25 African countries? The answer comes down to the core product. McDonald's menus are heavily centered on beef, which is expensive to produce and transport. KFC centers entirely on chicken. Chicken requires significantly shorter production cycles, is highly efficient to raise, and most importantly, can be sourced entirely from local farmers. KFC also aggressively localizes its offerings, integrating regional staples like jollof rice directly into their menus in places like Ghana. By bending its menu and supply chain to match local realities, KFC thrives, exposing McDonald's inflexibility as its biggest hurdle. McDonald's built its global dominance by forcing the world to adapt to its standardized system, refusing to compromise on how its food is sourced or prepared. That is why their only successful outposts on the continent are in wealthier, highly developed markets, where tycoons like South African President Cyril Ramaphosa can provide the massive capital required to maintain the standard. But by sticking strictly to that model, the Golden Arches are leaving a massive, rapidly expanding middle-class consumer base entirely untapped. The sheer complexity of navigating erratic power grids, poor roads, and volatile currencies makes most of the continent a hostile environment for an uncompromising business model. McDonald's isn't staying out of Africa by choice. It is standing on the sidelines, waiting for the continent to build the exact infrastructure required to support its inflexible empire.